These are characters who have made me laugh and cry and want to throw things at the television. They are characters I have rooted for, feared for, and also they're characters who have driven me crazy at times when they make poor decisions. But that's what good characters do. Life is full of ups and downs, so a strong character arc should be as well. Hi everyone, Nicole here from Writersbrooke. If you're new to this channel, I'm an author and a former high school English, film studies, and theater teacher, and I currently work in higher education. Writersbrooke is a deep dive into the world of storytelling, from movies to books, TV, video games, and more. Today's video is going to be the first part of a two-part series. Here I'll be talking about some of my very favorite female characters on TV, and the next time I'll be talking about some of my favorite male characters on TV. We'll be discussing what makes them strong characters, both their strengths and weaknesses, and how their story arcs in their respective shows make them such rich characters. These are characters who have made me laugh and cry and want to throw things at the television. They are characters I have rooted for, feared for, and also they're characters who have driven me crazy at times when they make poor decisions. But that's what good characters do. Life is full of ups and downs, so a strong character arc should be as well. This list will not be given in any particular order because frankly, I love all of them far too much to rate them against one another. Before we get into who my favorite characters are, let's talk about what makes a good character. Complexity and growth. Character development is what makes us love a character, connect with them, and care about what happens to them. The conflict directly impacts their growth, and their choices in exchange directly impact the plot of the story. Television is a fantastic medium that allows characters to be explored in a much more profound manner than movies do because they're so much longer. Audience members spend so much time with these characters in their homes, on their screens, that it feels like these people are a real part of their lives. They get to watch them overcome trauma, grief, and fear, as well as experience love, joy, and success. These characters resonate with audience members because they see them face difficult circumstances and change for the better. Neil Gaiman once said, "Fairy tales are more than true. Not because they tell us that dragons exist, but because they tell us dragons can be beaten." That's what these characters do for all of us. They show us that the dragons in our own lives can be beaten. They resonate with us and give us hope that we can overcome the challenges we face every day. So now let's get right into it. Eleven's arc in Stranger Things is an inspiring one that is the root of the core message of the series, in my opinion. She starts out traumatized and afraid, running from the people who have kept her prisoner for her entire life. She's known little kindness and little love before the start of the show, but inherently, 11 is kind. Although she is skeptical and fearful to trust anyone she comes in contact with, she is great at seeing the good in people. She is powerful, but despite Renner's intentions, she only uses that power to defend. She is loyal, honest, and willing to die to do the right thing. From the first season to the fourth season, she's come a long way. She's had to figure out who she is and what makes her her. She's found her confidence and continually grows into her power mentally and physically, learning from those around her and teaching them also as she develops from season to season. Everything she does and every choice she makes is rooted in the love she feels for others and in her desire to protect. Season 4's reveal that Vecna's power comes from hate and rage, but 11's comes from love was, as I said, the root message of the series, in my opinion. It's something that could have easily felt cheesy, but it doesn't at all, because it's true to the development of the character and everything she's been through. Home Before Dark is a series loosely based on the real-life exploits of a 9-year-old journalist who reports on crime. Legit crime, like murders and drug deals and stuff. Hilde Lysiak is the real name of the girl that the show is based on. In the series, Hilde is sweet, curious, brave, and not afraid to do what's needed to get down to the truth of any story, no matter how dangerous it is. She looks up to her father, a journalist himself, who taught her to never give up on the truth, even when others do so. Hilde's not afraid to stand out, although like any other kid, she does want to belong. She's loyal and loving and so smart. She starts out in season 1 being so single-minded in her pursuit of the truth that she forgets that her actions can have consequences on others around her. Through her journey, she ultimately learns how to balance her desire for truth with her desire to help and protect others. The best part of this excellent mystery series is that it showcases the fact that kids are not dumb or incapable of handling the truth. They shouldn't be lied to in order to be protected. They're humans, learning and growing, just like adults learn and grow from their mistakes every single day. Their fears and ideas deserve to be heard. They have a lot to teach us. They have a lot to give. At the beginning of Teen Wolf, Lydia Martin is a popular mean girl. She has everything and she knows it. She's full of herself, overconfident, and unwilling to listen to other people's opinions. Other than being friends with the female lead of the series, Allison, the crush of the main character's best friend, Styles, and the girlfriend of the captain of the lacrosse team, Jackson, she's not very important to the story. Her character is mostly defined by her relation to other more pivotal characters at first. As the show progresses, however, she goes on to have a fantastic character arc, eventually becoming one of the strongest characters in the entire series. As is often the case, her overconfidence stems from fear and the desire to belong, and she overcomes that fear finding herself in the series. Her path to change starts when she's put into harm's way because of her connection to Styles. Before this, Lydia had no idea what supernatural dangers were lurking around her in Beacon Hills. After this incident, she finds herself on a journey searching for answers that inevitably brings her into the epicenter of the supernatural battle happening in the town. Facing these dangers head-on, she is no longer defined by others and instead is defined by her choices that impact the other characters around her. She is no longer simply a love interest, even though the Stydia ship is one of the best parts of the show. She becomes brave, selfless, and above all else, willing to put herself in harm's way to help the people she loves. Inej Ghafa is a member of the gang referred to as the Crows. She was sold into indentured servitude to the menagerie, but after Kaz Brecker, the leader of the Crows, recognized her warrior abilities, he began buying her out so she could eventually be free of the menagerie and work for him. Inej is skilled at combat. Her stealth and proficiency with knives is unparalleled. Although she could be an unstoppable assassin, she is unwavering in her devotion to her religion and her desire to never kill. Ultimately, she has to grapple with her decision to break her vow when she ends up killing someone in order to save Kaz. She is honorable, patient, kind, and so very smart. She brings a much-needed measure of hope to the Crows that balances out their overconfidence and skepticism. Also, her longingly silent relationship with Kaz is just so much fun to watch. It's clear that they both care deeply for one another, but neither of them is in the right place for a relationship, nor do they allow themselves to be vulnerable enough to admit how much they actually mean to one another. So it makes for some wonderful scenes, especially when the stakes are high. Constance Contraire is a fantastic contradiction in the most genuine sense of the word. She is tiny, blonde, has pigtail braids, and wears so much pink that you might expect her to be shy, bubbly, and sweet, and yet she will demolish you if you dare look at her the wrong way, or even if you don't. Constance is clever, confident, cynical, practical, and has absolutely no patience for anyone. She trusts no one and expects the worst from everyone around her. Unlike the other members of the Benedict Society, her strength does not come from her physicality, her creativity, or even her knowledge, but it does come from her mind. She has a powerful will that is nearly unbreakable. Although she starts out wanting to have nothing to do with anyone else, as the series progresses, she learns that relying on others and being there for them in return is not a fault, but a strength, although her sassy attitude never falters. Constance is hilarious, and her no-nonsense attitude makes for some of the funniest lines in the entire series. Starting the series off as a quiet and shy character, Piper Halliwell grows into her confidence so well. She's the middle sister, has the ability to freeze time, and is entirely overwhelmed by the need to help others around her, so much so that she never thinks of herself. She's unwilling to fight for what she wants when it comes to her own desires, but she will do anything for her sisters. Throughout the series, she comes into her own, becoming arguably the most confident character of any of them. Her time magic grows into the ability to blow things up, both abilities stemming from the ability to manipulate on a molecular level, hence immobilization of molecules and combustion of molecules, respectively. This change symbolizes her growth. She becomes the defender of her family, who's no longer afraid to speak her mind or fight for what she wants. The titular character of the series, Nikita, a remake of the 90s movies and TV series, is a criminal turned government weapon turned rogue assassin. Her goal is to take down the secret organization called Division that faked her death instead of killing her on death row in order to train her and use her abilities for themselves. They are mentally abusive, controlling, and all around bad news. After years of doing their dirty work, Nikita fell in love with a civilian who was ultimately killed by Division. That was the last straw for her. She got out and decided to take them down. Throughout the series, Nikita deals with a lot of trauma, having to grapple with forgiving herself and trying to seek out justice rather than revenge. She's a skilled assassin, has street smarts, she's brave, selfless, and patient. All necessary skills to slowly dismantle a covert organization. She makes a lot of awesome friends and enemies along the way, and it makes for a wild ride. Her on-again, off-again relationship with Division Head of Operations and her past trainer, Michael, is one of the best parts of the show. Hayley Marshall begins the series as a loner who doesn't have any direction and doesn't care about much else other than herself. She's motivated a lot by fear and by the desire to escape responsibility. She's sassy and overconfident, even though that confidence stems from fear. As the series progresses, she becomes a powerful and authentically confident mother and leader. She is loyal above all else and is willing to do whatever is needed to protect and care for her daughter and her people, despite her own happiness. From the beginning to the end of the series, Hayley retains her spirit and her ability to roll with the punches in a world that has not been particularly kind to her. Wanda Maximoff starts off in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a side character, but her debut as the main character in Marvel's first Disney Plus series, WandaVision, showed the world exactly why she's the perfect leading lady. She's a strong character, not because she's perfect, but because she's flawed. Wanda subconsciously submerges herself and the audience into a new reality in Westview, in the very place that she should have had her happy ending in order to cope with her pain. The show is a wondrous fever dream of grief. It shows her longing for true connection. Her love, her children, her brother, her community. She has been completely ostracized in every way and lost everything that's important to her. And this is her subconscious mind responding to it. We, the audience, like Wanda, or at least her conscious mind, have no idea what's going on in this new reality or why it's even happening at all. Every episode represents a new era in sitcom history. As the show progresses, we learn that this deep dive into sitcom history was Wanda's subconscious mind trying to find solace in the shows that she grew up loving with her family. Sitcoms are her escape, and Wanda quite literally brings them to life, albeit arguably unintentionally, to find peace. The show does such a great job showing the complexity of her character. WandaVision is an excellent analysis of grief and hope that only works because of Elizabeth Olsen's honest character work. Through much of the show, she's her own worst enemy as she tries to work through her grief. She's vulnerable but strong, broken yet caring, and once she realizes that the world she's creating is hurting others, she's willing to give everything up in order to do what's right. It's a beautiful character arc, relatable, hard to swallow, and yet hopeful all at the same time. Alright, this concludes today's video. Next time, we'll be wrapping up this two-part series with an analysis of some of my favorite male TV characters. But for now, it's your turn. Who are your favorite female TV characters? Why do you love them so much? Tell me all about it in the comments, and make sure to click that like button if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Until next time, friends, find your story.